Well, hello and good afternoon. No limits living community. I am so happy to be connected with all of you once again. Alejandro Tornato, coming directly from Beaufort, Georgia. And this is a new segment of Carpe Diem with Alejandro and Bob. And without any delays, because he is not only under the beautiful sunshine of Bermuda, but he's also he cannot wait to say hello to all of you. So let me bring him in, my dear friend and colleague, Bob DiGiacomo. How are you doing, Bob, today? I love those shades.
Yeah, well, these are special shades. These are photosensitive, so you can appreciate that. Oh my gosh, my eyes. You can appreciate that the glare is so bright out here today, even though the sun is not shining, which must be an indication that ultraviolet rays are coming through nonetheless.
That's right.
And I thought, what a better time, as long as the wind cooperates, to come outside and do an unplugged Alejandro and Bob.
That's hey, listen, whether we are inside or whether we are outside, we are, and today we are on fire because we are going to be discussing a topic that I hope, I know that it will resonate with many people, and is the topic of becoming and being a purple cow. Now, you heard me correctly. I said becoming and being a purple cow. Now, are you afraid of being a purple cow? If you are afraid, why? Why are you afraid? Listen, being a purple cow, and as a matter of fact, is not that. I think that we are both. I think that Bob and myself, we are both purple cows. And, I guess Bob did not get the memo, even though, I mean, he's dressed in that beautiful and colorful shirt. But I had to put on my, not purple, I mean, this is a kind of a pinkish. So I am a pink cow today. But the concept is the same. And we're going to be talking about that concept. As a matter of fact, did you know, Bob, that the purple cow is a theory, and is a theory that was developed by an entrepreneur who most people know who we are talking about, Seth Godin. And he wrote a book about that. And the theory states that companies must build things that are worth noticing right into their products and their services. And so this concept of being a purple cow is to really, if we boil it down to the roots, is standing out from the masses, being different, and not having any problem with being different. As a matter of fact, different is good. Different is a sign of being excellent. So what do you say about that?
Well, I'm going to start off by going moo, or maybe I should utter meh, meh. Oh, well, this is Alejandro and Bob Unplugged, so we get to do that. And you're right about Seth. And what some people don't know is that Seth actually was responsible for inventing the internet. And there goes the fiber guy. not the fiber you take inside, but the fiber that connects, because I was speaking about internet and the internet truck drove by. Why? Because I'm outside today and this is totally unplugged, and I'm looking to see how many brown cows are going to cross my path, because purple cows are unique. There are not a lot of them out there, but each brown cow, each black cow has an opportunity to transform into a purple cow. In fact, let me tell you something about Seth. Seth says, and I quote, "In a crowded marketplace, fitting in is a failure.
Mm.
In a busy marketplace, not standing out is the same as being invisible." So I didn't put on my purple camisa today. And by the way, you're lucky that I even have one, because remember, all my household goods shipped. And so I'm on limited wardrobe.
That's right.
So,
Limited supplies.
so your shirt stands out in a crowd. And I've already been told today that my shirt stood out in a crowd, because a lot of people walk around in different uniforms. For instance, I came from the grocery store. Today was my day to be able to go shopping. Everything here on the island is now divided into alphabetical. So A to G gets Mondays and Thursdays, and F to whatever gets Tuesdays and Fridays. And
yeah,
then the rest of the people at the other end of the alphabet get Wednesdays and Saturdays. But of course, on Sunday, I get to go anywhere I want because it's Senior Citizen Day. So it is about standing out in the crowd. But you gotta, like I said, the guys at the grocery store are all wearing the same uniform. So essentially, in their uniform, they're not standing out in the crowd. But we don't have to always think about the uniform itself. It's what's coming from the inside out that causes that purple stuff to flow.
That's exactly right. And I think that when we talk about being or becoming a purple cow, I think that we have to bring in the idea that I do believe that most people that we know of, or most people who are walking about in this large world, they follow a very conformist type of life. I mean, they conform. They That's right. They follow, they conform, they accept other people's ideas without filtering those ideas through their thinking structure. I mean, it's just accepting just at point blank. I mean, whatever other people say or think, I'm accepting those. And that is a way of conforming to others, as opposed to asking questions. I mean, disputing other people's thoughts. I mean, why? I mean, asking questions like, why? Why are they thinking that way? Why should I be thinking the same way? Why, if they're all going to one side, why do I have to follow them and not going in a completely different direction? Those things we have. You know, I heard it so many times. The blind are leading the blind. And what happens when you lead the blind? Everybody falls into the ditch.
I better take these glasses off, because you're going to think that I'm the blind here. but you brought up a couple of points, and I'm going to use a couple of words, maybe a little bit of a cliche here, but we tend to flock to somebody, because we think that they've got the next best idea. which then causes us to herd ourselves, as opposed to us being the purple cow. People can flock to us
That's right.
if they choose to,
That's right.
but I'm not planning to have a herd. I'd
Yeah.
rather have a tribe,
That's exactly right.
but I don't want a herd.
That's exactly right, and that's what happens. I mean, most people, and I think that. Don't you think that one of the reasons that most people follow the herd and follow the masses is because following the masses is so much easier and it doesn't require any work at all. It doesn't require us to engage our thinking mind. It doesn't require us to exert creativity. It doesn't exert us to think new ideas and new thoughts that could challenge the herd and that could challenge the masses. And so following the masses is very easy. I mean, it's like getting into a black hole, I mean, there's that gravitational pull that pulls you in, and you cannot do anything about it. Where in reality, we can do something about it. I mean, we can be ourselves, and we can be different. Some people would like us, some other people would not. But that's life. Who cares about that?
So you are implying that light is getting sucked into the black hole. But I'm going to get a little apolitical here for just a few moments.
And it cannot escape. While that light gets into the black hole, it cannot escape anymore.
The gravitational pull. Obviously, we're ahead of our time with the science that we know. Oh my gosh. You must have been in the same class I was in. But let me get a little apolitical for a moment without getting political. Capitalists and capitalism do not follow a herd mentality, because you mentioned the word masses, and what triggered in my mind right then became the proletariat, all the things that I learned about from the last century that didn't work too well.
That's right.
And so when we tend to lean towards the socialist side of the scale, which if you take you can't see me, I'm going off the scale here. But if you take the socialist side of the scale to the far left, you end up in the communist side. And there are no purple cows over there.
And
that's the end of the political statement.
Yes. And even if under that environment, if there was a purple cow, it would very quickly be trying to eradicate. I mean, the system will come to try to make everything. So that's why in the past, we have a lot of examples of people who used to live in this very structured and very mind-dominating systems. I mean, where everybody was exactly the same, and the system did not allow purple cows to thrive. But when there were purple cows, they had to leave. They had to leave the system to go into places where they could thrive and they could exert their purple cowness type of life.
Or they were permanently removed.
Or they were permanently removed. Yes.
They were dangerous.
That's right. That's right.
Speaking of which, though,
sure.
This is probably a great time to have a commercial, because we're talking about purple cows and being different and not flocking. Because I'm going to ask the question. Sometimes are we comfortable being uncomfortable, or are we uncomfortable being comfortable? And you and I are about to launch a program that starts off with something called your comfort zone.
Exactly.
Why don't you say a few words about that?
Well, yes, we are working towards launching a program, and the first lesson or the first teaching in that has to do with the comfort zone. And some people may ask, well, why do you start with the comfort zone? Well, the reason is because the comfort zone is the place where most people love to stay, and and they don't want to do anything. It's like they're sucked into that comfort zone, and they just whether they know it or not, they just stay there. And in that comfort zone, everything becomes robotic. Everything becomes routinary. Everything becomes the same. And you know what happens? If you are a speaker, let's take for example a speaker. How many times, Bob, did you hear that sameness is the death of a speaker?
Yep.
Many times. Sameness is the death of a speaker. Well, I think that I would like to using the analogy of the rubber band. And there is a beautiful law. I mean, that talks about the law of the rubber band. And what happens? Sameness is the death of a speaker, but that correlation can be applied to anything. Sameness is the death of creativity. Sameness is the death of a human being, because we are not designed to live exactly the same day after day after day. And if you are in that comfort zone, that's what you're doing, is living the same things day after day after day, after month after year. And then at the end of your life, you're saying, I mean, what did I do? Did I live, or did I just exist in that comfort environment? And so that is a good place to start. I mean, is why what happens in that comfort zone? Is it good for us? Would it bring us benefits to stay in that comfort zone, or is it better to just break through and begin to explore what is outside of that comfort zone?
So I have another quote by Seth. Did I mention that he mentored me?
No.
Oh, well, let me mention that. I was fortunate enough to have him mentor me. Um, and he says, being aware of your fear is smart. Overcoming it is the mark of a successful person. How important it is, and I've got another statement here I'll read in a moment. How important, though, it is for us to seek out to become a purple cow. And the reason we want to be a purple cow is because, as Seth describes it, you're driving down the road, and what do you see? You see cow after cow after cow. They're all the same. And after a while, you get bored looking at and interacting with those cows. But when you see a purple cow, or a pink cow, or a green cow, or a how now, we don't want to say brown cow, the difference that makes. And we can't go through life stealing oxygen. We need to make an impact out there.
Oh, sure. Oh, definitely. Um, you know, I came to an article talking about the purple cows and the concept of purple cows, and I came across a word which I think I love it. I mean, it's called remarkableness.
Mm.
Remarkableness. And there are some general concepts about remarkableness. And, you know, if you're just another brown cow, there's no remarkableness in you. But if you turned from a brown cow to a colorful cow, then there is you beginning to have remarkableness in you. And one of the concepts of remarkableness is first, and we already mentioned that, don't follow the herd.
Mhm.
Do not follow the herd. The second concept, be persistent. And whatever you do, don't just do it for a day, because doing things for a day, a new thing for a day, will not pay any dividends. Just be consistent with it, be persistent with it. And also, very tied to that, be relentless. Be relentless. And let me tell you one thing, brown cows, they are not relentless. They just do exactly the same thing day after day after day. They walk in the field, they chew on the grass, and they chew it and they digest it and they bring it back and then rechew it. And it's all the same. It's all the same. So be relentless in doing something that is different.
Let me utter a few points. You'll get that later. Let me utter.
That's right.
In the word remarkable, let me remark that you are able, and the ness can be the ending of many things: resourcefulness, wonderfulness, etc. I mean, you could just take ness to the end. Let me give you one more point here from Mr. Seth Godin. He uses the word linchpin,
Oh, yes.
and that is somebody in an organization who is indispensable, who simply cannot be replaced because their role is just far too unique and valuable. Brown cows, they're a dime a dozen. Colorful cows are unique. And I want you to also add, you see that word down there next to my name?
Yes.
Not only be intentional, but be transformational.
That's right. That's right. That example that you mentioned about being indispensable. I remember some years ago when I was working in the field of chemical engineering, and I was working for a company. I'm not going to mention the name, but I remember that at one point in time, there was one person in the group or in our team that had, I don't know how many years of experience. I mean, in design, and it was truly an asset. And that person, believe it or not, he got laid off. He was let go, and everybody got very surprised because it says, how is the company, what is the mentality of the company in doing that thing? Because how long is it going to take for the company to hire somebody new and train that person with the same amount of experience that this person that they let go. You see, that person, in my opinion, was indispensable because experience cannot be improvised. And you let all that experience go. I thought it was a mistake, but okay, that was a decision that higher ups, made. But that's one of the examples of people or linchpins that they provide a lot of real value to an organization or to a team or to whatever. So yes, we have to become different. We have to do things not as everybody else does it. And you've seen, for instance, Steve Jobs. It comes to mind. Steve Jobs was a very bright purple cow. He was not a conformist. He was. And what happens when you have that attitude of not conforming to the norms and trying to come up with new ideas? Well, he came up with the iPhone, he came up with the iPod, he came up with iTunes, and those were things that revolutionized an industry, a whole industry.
And it created an industry.
That's right, created an industry. Why? Because he was not another brown cow. He was.
Two quick points as we come down to an end here. All too often, the job that you're at, as you have been there longer and longer, in their minds, you may become less and less valuable because you begin to cost them too much. If they're smart, they'll know to keep you because you're indispensable.
Mm-hmm.
But they would rather hire others who are younger because they come in at a lower price. Then secondly, I've been watching these commercials where this girl walks in with this cake and on it, it's "I quit," because she has gotten to the point where she realizes, in my translation, that it's time to be a purple cow because I'm not going to continue to flock and herd with these people.
That's right.
And then Zig Ziglar probably said it best. You may choose to not invest in your people, or you may choose to invest in your people.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't invest in your people and they decide to stay, what happens to your company? So I'm going to put out a call to action today. Is it my turn or your turn?
Just go for it. If you have a call of action, I cannot even wait to hear it.
Well, I'm going to put out a call to action today for everybody who's listening to this, watching this, to envision themselves outside the box, outside the comfort zone. Of course, they'll tune in when we launch the Comfort Zone seminar that we're going to do. So be ready for that, guys. But envision yourself as that purple cow. And what would you do differently so that you are not doing things with sameness?
That's correct. Yes. And that comes, just that word sameness, it's I'm going to say, even, take it to the extreme of, if you think that an idea that you may have is absolutely and completely crazy, guess what? Do it.
So I'm going to
go ahead with it.
I'm going to throw one more thing out with that. because we do things with specific intentionality and transformation. To be that purple cow, go see who you can serve today to make a difference.
That's exactly right. Yes. Live every day. And as a matter of fact, living as a purple cow or as a colorful cow, you're going to see that you are not living with any limitations in your life. Being a purple cow is like has the effect of evaporating limitations or limiting beliefs that you may have or that you may put into yourself, because living as a purple cow, it takes away all the limitations, all the inhibitions, everything that you may have. And that's what would make you a very different person, because everybody else, they always think, well, what happens, why Alejandro is doing what he's doing, or why Bob is doing what he's doing. We are doing what we're doing because we are not the same as everybody else. And that is right. And you have to accept that. If you accept that, you're going to see all limitations just vanish. And you have the freedom to be yourself and to show up in the world with creativity, with strength, and with power. Be a powerful individual. Be a purple cow.
That sounds like a great place to sign off. And when are we up again?
And we are up again this Friday, because today is Monday. So on Friday, we'll rejoin and for another exciting discussion and conversation. And what would that be? Well, who knows? I really don't know, but I know that the universe will bring down, through various vehicles, a topic that is going to be impactful and will resonate with all of you. So up until the next, now, before we go, any just quick words of wisdom from you, Bob?
No, we've covered it all, and let's just go out there and make a difference, serving and helping other people.
Excellent. Thank you so very much. And as always, live every moment. Don't let moments go by. Live them fully. Be resilient and be kind, be passionate, and be well. Take care. Bye-bye.